Hello and welcome once again to Those Muckrakers, episode 81. I'm Pat.
And I'm Pete.
And today's episode almost didn't happen because we're kind of short on time, so this will be a shorter than average episode. In fact, I was just about ready to pull the Mrs. B-Board show switch again and have them come in and do another episode for us. But you couldn't do that because you know that I'm under contract and won't work more than once a month. Yes, we know. We're well aware of the terms and stipulations in accordance with your lawyer. Oh, I'll work an extra day for free. Oh, shut up, Abe. Who asked you? Sorry, Pat. So, Pete, what do we have in the news today?
It's like the wacky morning zoo. Like, all we needed was some some fart sounds and just like, oh no. We need a soundboard guy. That's what we need.
It's Swampy and the Wombat in the morning.
Is that our official morning zoo thing? Swampy and the Wombat?
I was trying to think of a better thing than
No, that's
the
perfect.
First one.
If that's original, that's us. That's our morning zoo personas then.
I like the Wombat. The first one could be something else.
Nope, it's too late. We're locked in. Swampy and the Wombat.
Okay, it's Swampy and the Wombat in the morning.
Swampy here, and I'm sweating like usual.
Wah-ha, the Wombat! Hoo, ha, hoo.
You were like, Wesley, speed it up.
Ho, ha, ho, ha, ho.
All right, so in the news today, there's a great article by Vice called Why Tiny Dicks Might Come Into Fashion.
Speaking of tiny dicks, did you know that speaking of Wesley, he tried to put mayonnaise in ramen? I don't even think he cooked the ramen. It's just a packet of raw ramen with the mayonnaise on it, and it's gross. Okay, get back to the tiny dicks.
Well, I just want to say there's a big thing coming out right now called Weight Watchers actually has, and I'll just delve into this news story real quick. Weight Watchers has developed a weight loss app aimed at like children to help them understand and teach them what are healthy foods, what are not foods. It's interesting. And so there's a bunch of people that are like, this is great to educate kids, because childhood obesity is on the rise. And other people are like, I don't think we need to indoctrinate children into diet culture. And I'm torn on this because for one thing, I don't agree with body shaming, right?
Right.
But I also don't think that like, if you're really big and unhealthy, that you should be like, I'm going to accept who I am and I'm going to be happy with me. No, you should work on you. Don't accept that. You're going to die.
I know. Well, here's the thing. You should never body shame anyone because it's fucking America and big businesses that are murdering them. They are serving people stuff that is not real food.
We should corporate shame.
The deeper I come along in my nutritarian diet, the more I begin to realize that most of what everyone eats is not real. It's fake. It's all processed grain and sugar and salt, and that's it mixed together. It's gross.
We do tend to blame. We do tend to victim blame people instead of like that whole thing about like, did you know that if you use less plastic straws, you can help the environment? But then it's like,
I don't care about that type of stuff. But go ahead.
Well, but it ties in because like it's like, or we could go after like the top 3 corporations that are like responsible for like fucking 80% of the pollution. You know what I mean? That whole like your plastic straws killing dolphins. You know who else is killing dolphins? Exxon.
Yeah.
Like so.
Every time they have another spill.
We shouldn't body shame, but we do need everybody to be fit and healthy to fight for the eventual revolution in which we're going to eat the rich.
Yep. So what was that about tiny dicks? That's gonna suck if tiny dicks do come back into fashion. Because I'm gonna be out of the market if that happens.
Hey, you're gonna be out. I'm gonna be back in. I'm in, baby. I'm back.
I'm rich, bitch.
I like the way this article begins. It says the modern Western world loves a big fat dick. If you look at our president, that's definitely true.
But he has a tiny mushroom dick that goes, "Hey Mario, the princess is in another castle."
That's because the rest of him is a giant entire dick.
I know, but
he
God,
himself is a dick.
How horrific is it that in this day and age, I not only have an impression of Trump, bigly, okay, sad, but I also have an impression of his wiener. Like that. That's how far down the rabbit hole we've fallen.
It's funny because no one had an impression of Obama's wiener.
I imagine it talks like him and pauses a lot.
Balls.
Bishop.
Let me be clear. You're gonna stay back there, and you're not gonna flop around so much when I'm up in there. You understand what I'm saying?
No, we spent a lot of time keeping you well groomed, so you just need to stay the course.
So the whole point of this article is really interesting. So the Greeks apparently were all about like what do you call it? Like style and things in balance. So like the Greeks were all about I say Barnabas, his penis is quite well balanced and quite small and reasonable. So whenever they saw like a big old barbarian with just a big old dick swinging down to his knees, they were like, oh, how ridiculous! Like, ew. I mean, what a beastly penis.
What do you think is wrong with that man's tallywhacker?
Yeah. So I just thought that was really weird that for a long time people were like, yeah, I'm down with a tiny little mushroom tip.
He'll have sore knees walking around with that thing penduluming back and forth, whacking his legs.
I don't know why the article said it'll come back, and Vice often like writes interesting clickbait.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so what was it? Are they just trying to say Greek's gonna be back in soon, or Roman, or whatever you said? I wasn't paying attention.
I guess anything that goes out of fashion comes back in, and that's what they were saying, that for a long time in the Western world, tiny little penises were super popular.
Huh. Speaking of eat the rich, we need to eat President Bolsonaro.
Bolsonaro is just Brazilian Trump.
Yeah,
And he's destroying the rainforest.
Yeah, 20% of it is on fire right now. It's so bad that there's this one town that's been completely blacked out. The sky has been blotted out for days.
That town is called São Paulo, Brazil. It's a very popular spot. They're just like, where did the sun go?
Yeah, so just the Amazon's been on fire for a few days now, and there's somewhere in the Arctic or Antarctic that is also on fire. Hold on, I have this in my notes, but I didn't pull my notes up.
Fire!
I've just been going off the top of my head here. That's the wrong thing. Now this.
If it makes you feel any better, hundreds.
Oh, my Apocalypse Now news. I was in rainforest.
So. While
Siberia's on fire.
Well, Siberia always deserves to burn. No one liked being there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things are. That's climate change is really heating up. If it'll make you feel better, in dumb people news, anti-vax parents pack courtroom as lawyers fight New York vaccination requirement. Hundreds of vaccination opponents packed an Albany courtroom Wednesday morning because they are suing. New York, because New York basically, after we had a huge measles outbreak in New York's like, hey, guess what? If you're gonna be here, you gotta vaccinate your kids. And people are like, it's against my religion. Well, then get the fuck out of New York. Like,
what religion says don't vaccinate?
There's some
Scientologists.
There's Christian Scientists. I think ultra orthodox Judaism is against. I think, I don't know. That's because that's where the one of the big measles outbreaks started, was in the ultra orthodox community. But so there are these anti-vaxxers are using the religious thing as I don't want to vaccinate my kids. That's fine. Then homeschool them or get the hell out of New York. And I don't like the government stepping in, telling me I got to do stuff. But there are certain things in the public good for public health that it's I can't walk around holding a plutonium rod, just on a crowded street and be like, this is my religion.
Yeah. So speaking of ultra-Orthodox Jews, did you hear about the new king of the Jews in the news today?
No. What is this? Is this your sneaky way to try to convert me to Christianity? Like you've just gone full Mormon, and you're like, have you heard about the king of the Jews, Jesus?
So I'm gonna read you a quote, and then I want you to guess who said it. Donald J. Trump. Like he's the king of Israel. They love him like he is the second coming of God. But American Jews don't know him or like him. They don't know what they're doing or saying anymore. It makes no sense, but that's okay. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he's good for ...
Are they talking about Netanyahu?
They are talking about... That's Trump talking about himself.
That's weird. That's super weird.
He was talking about himself in third person, calling himself the king of Israel.
All right, so let me ask you this. Okay, so say that the literal interpretation of the book of Revelations from the Bible is true, right?
Yes.
And there will be a physical, a dude who's just like, hey, I'm the Antichrist. What's happening?
Oh my God, he does call himself the king of the Jews, doesn't he? Right?
I'm pretty sure. So do you think
we're seeing biblical prophecy happening?
That he is the fulfillment of that the ultra like because he's just like doing all the things like
No, no, sad
but
disaster.
it's
I'm
weird
not the Antichrist.
because
Obama
you
is.
never thought the Antichrist would be so stupid if he was like, I
Yeah, I
mean,
expect him to be like conniving and intelligent.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like the one thing that they when they were always bitching about Obama, but the one thing that they had a little bit of a point when they called him the Antichrist because I'm like, well, he is a fucking smooth drink of water and can fucking probably talk the panties off of anyone. Like that's kind of the but how much of a cool twist would it be if God's like, no, 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 not that dude. I'm sending this guy.
Bigly.
Like, can you imagine getting up and be like, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the hosts of heaven have descended, and I tell you what, we're gonna fight them, and my friend the devil says we're gonna win big, okay? We're gonna defeat Jesus. We're gonna defeat Gabriel, okay? Very small, very unintelligent Gabriel, We're gonna defeat God, like, and I feel like people would be like, yeah, let's get Jesus, like.
Yeah, God, then Trump's gonna become a seven-headed dragon with really stupid hair and a mushroom dick.
If we have any fans that can draw, please draw the seven-headed Trump. We will make that the cover art of like our next episode.
with Toad from Mario down sticking out of his pants.
Just
Get him, Mario!
7 heads with 7 stupid haircuts and 7 tiny little penises. And lo, the seal was broken, and the dragon said, "Bigly, come and see."
The seventh seal was broken. Okay, that's the worst of the seals. Everyone says so.
I've got all the seals. I've got the best seals. Okay. But you fucking like Jesus, yeah.
We're not losing. We're all go. I didn't lose this war. I chose to go down into the lake of fire. Okay, everyone, come with me. It's gonna be so nice down there. It's way better than heaven. Everyone says so.
So like they say the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist, but like what if the greatest trick the Antichrist pulled was being just stupid as fuck? Listen, okay, look, we're all gonna get 666 tattooed on our forehead, okay? I've already talked to our lawyers, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's the MAGA hats. That's the sign of the beast on their forehead. No! It's happening.
Make the devil great again, okay?
And only about a third of voters voted for him.
Yep.
Disaster!
Oh my
Disaster!
God. We're going to have to change this to like those biblical prophesiers.
Those prophecy makers.
What if we're like the 2 witnesses?
Oh God, no!
That come down for like 30 days and then podcast and then are murdered horribly.
Well, we've done more than 30 podcasts, so...
I mean,
that's probably a symbolic number. They probably mean like 300th. So everyone, stay tuned for our 300th episode of those Muckrakers when we're horribly tortured live on the air for your amusement.
See how easy...
And for your sins.
See how easy it is to just connect the Bible to any conspiracy you want? Literally, in like 3 minutes of improv, we were like, boom, got it. We could start a cult if only enough people listen to us.
Send your gold bars to Wesley, who will amass the gold bars for us. And we don't really have like a part 2 to that, do we? Just Wesley has a bunch of gold bars in his room, and he's like, "Oh God damn it, guys! I don't have room for my bed anymore."
Well, then he's got.
I'll sleep on the gold.
Well, then
I don't want to. It gave me a back cramp.
Well, then he's got to carry them all to the Coinstar and try to figure out how to push gold bullion through the Coinstar to get us money.
I was just picturing gold bricks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So he's just trying to dump them in. People are staring at him. Stupid dildo machine not working.
I need to turn these into quarters now. No way, use the Coinstar to turn quarters into cash. I need to turn this into cash now so I can go buy more lottery tickets for Dad. Oh.
And more mayonnaise in his diet makes me sad.
They turns $1 million worth of gold bars into $1 million worth of lottery tickets, none of which win. Oh, the scratcher got me $25. I can go buy 25 more lottery tickets now. Oh.
So speaking of biblical prophecy, GOP rep from Iowa, Steve King is at it again.
Yeah, I heard about this, but go on.
And Steve King says, because it's a weird guy that he still is in office. He says, well, what if we backed through all the family trees and just pulled those people out that were products of rape and incest? Would there be any population of the world left if we did that? He said this in Urbandale, Iowa, according to a video posted online by the Des Moines Register.
I'm pretty sure if like the Vikings didn't invade villages and create rape babies, the husband and wife combos would be making non-rape babies. So yeah, there would be population left.
Well, considering all the wars and
He,
all the rape and pillage that has taken place, I know I can't
those weren't good
certify.
things.
I know that I can't certify that I was not a product of that, he said. I'd like to think that every one of the lives of us are as precious as any other life.
He's
So,
definitely he's definitely a product of incest, but we shouldn't be talking about this like it's a good thing,
well, he
like
brought
he
this
is.
up because he was his argument is he's defending not allowing exceptions of abortion in cases of rape or incest. Um,
Fuck him.
that's his problem. And I'm not taking his side, but I see what he's saying about like well, a child of rape is still in their eyes is a it's a valid human. It doesn't matter how you got here. What matters is the life. Sure, but you're also completely discounting the life that was destroyed during the rape or the incest, and then being forced to carry that child to term. That person also has rights.
Hmm.
You know, and it's insane. And like the other thing that people don't realize, and I read this. And have you ever read something that made you so sure you now know where the line is where you would commit murder, and like just without a doubt, like you'd be like, yep, I'd commit murder, I'd plan it out, I'd do it. You ever run into that when like reading up on stuff?
Plan it out. So first degree murder.
Oh yeah, first degree premeditated, like this person would
So,
never be found.
so this isn't like a spur of the moment. Someone's threatening my family right now, so I have to do something about it. This is I know that someone exists, and I need to go stick a knife in them.
Yeah, I'm going to end their life, and they and destroy the body, and they'll never ever be seen again.
These are my confessions.
Yeah.
Just when I thought
Well,
Pete was getting away, he said a bunch of stuff to send him to jail today.
Well,
Confessions.
what made me think of it? So I didn't know this. So in the United States, if you're a victim of sexual assault and you end up carrying that baby to term, your rapist, even if he is a convicted of the rape, has all the parental rights as if it was a consensual birth or a
Right? Yeah,
consensual, yeah.
I
And
knew that.
they can sue you for child support. They can sue you for custody, all of that stuff. If they raped you and you ended up having a baby. So when I read that, I go, "That's it. That's the murder line.
Yeah.
That's like I would kill that person if that happened to. Well, it can't happen to me because I can't have a baby. But like, if it happened, I guess to me, like baby adjacent, like somebody I knew was like, oh yeah, my rapist is suing me for custody rights.
I, I mean, women can rape men. It's
Yeah, but I can't.
usually
But
not talked about
the point is
terrible, but
yeah, the point is about carrying a baby to term. You
right,
redditor.
right. You wouldn't carry it, but let's say they carried it to term and then said, "Well, now you also have to pay me money."
Fine. If I got somebody pregnant and they wanted to carry it to term, yeah. I mean, I'd pay for it. But my point is, if someone forced me to carry a baby to term and then was like, and then was like, now I'm gonna sue you for custody and you have to see me knowing that I'm your rapist, I'd be like, you would die. You would die, and
That
they would never find you.
that would be one step too far for you.
I wouldn't even care if I went to prison, even if my plan did go wrong and they were like, you murdered this person. I'd be like, yeah, I did it.
So there was no there's no plan to get away with this. It's just a plan to murder.
Oh no, I would try to get away with it, but I'm saying even if I didn't get away with it, I would still be like worth going to prison for.
Yep. Okay. So
I like how that got dark and then quiet.
now I was just wondering if I should press the other point. So if a let's say in this life you were raped by a female who could give birth and she gave birth and sued you, not worth killing her over because you didn't also have to carry it. But
Yeah,
if you were a woman in this life and you could have babies and you were raped by a guy, then
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
absolutely kill the
Yeah,
bastard.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. I can see your point. I absolutely would too, especially once they start. Yeah, no,
because it's yeah.
that would be a nightmare. Like you couldn't not wake up screaming every night for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's just like people don't understand the shit that women go through, and then people don't understand reproductive rights, and it's really because you really go in and read about it and the stuff that women go through and the way the laws are not designed to benefit women, and you're like, how are more women not just out shooting up dudes anywhere they gather? How is every like Super Bowl party or like whatever places that men go to just not full of like lone wolf women with guns being like I'm gonna kill everyone.
Don't know. So we have 4 minutes and 5 topics. So want to shoot through them super fast?
You want to shoot to him and then wrap it with the Dear Abby?
Yeah, sure.
All
Okay,
right.
so Epstein was found dead within since our last podcast.
So yeah, someone, everyone's like, that's a conspiracy. Hillary Clinton slithered through the bars like the snake she is and coiled around his neck. You know what I mean? All that weird shit. I don't think it's that weird he killed himself because I think there's a lot of powerful people that were probably like, uh, hi, Bill Clinton here. Hey, Jeffrey, you should kill yourself.
So, I mean, other people are saying Barr and Trump killed him. They're covering it up. There's a lot of rich people that didn't like him. He had been on suicide watch. He wasn't when he killed himself, but he was
Right.
supposed to be being watched by people. The people who were supposed to be watching him did not watch him that night because the person who was in charge of him had just entered his 5th overtime shift. So he
Right.
was fucking tired. He was like so out of it. So, really, this is a story about how shitty guards are treated in
Well, it's
prisons.
also tough because that could have been. I mean, I guess you could have been like, yeah, put a guy on 5 overtime shifts. But I honestly think like
And
Epstein went from being rich to going to prison, and you know what happens to like pedophiles in prison anyway.
most of the time, they are beaten to within an inch of their life or just killed.
Well, they're beaten into within an inch of their life, and then they're beaten the rest of the inch.
Yeah. So, also, Trump retweeted a conspiracy theory, basically accusing Hillary of killing him. So, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he just
And
you know that those people that have dirt on too many people, like they're gonna, and also like you go from being a super rich guy to like just raping at will to being in prison. There's no way that you're gonna like do that time. Like either you're gonna get out or you're gonna kill yourself.
yeah,
I don't think that's the thing about it. I don't think it took anyone else to kill him. I think he was fully capable of killing himself because maybe he knew that if he didn't kill himself and they thought he talked that something horrible would happen to someone else that was important to him. You know what I mean? There's a million reasons he could have killed himself.
I, so in weird fucking news. So, according to all of his associates that'll talk, Trump gets furious every time he does something he feels is praiseworthy and doesn't get praised for it. So,
Sounds about right.
while headed to El Paso, Trump saw the news that the people in El Paso were critical of him for heading down there. So he exploded on his aides, screaming at them to find proof that the people in El Paso were happy to see him. However, not one single person that was still being treated in the hospital after the shootout wanted to meet with Trump, and there were still 8 people in the hospital at the time.
Yeah.
So, what the aides did instead was phone up everyone who had been released from the hospital already and ask them to come back to the hospital for photo ops with the president. And 2 people out of all the survivors expressed some interest in meeting him, so they were instantly invited to come for a photo op. And now, reporters were not allowed in, so all we have is cell phone footage that Trump pretended like was taken in secret, and he released it later. But it's so fucking weird because the entire clip of Trump talking to the survivors, and this is supposed to be like his big everyone wants to see me moment, was just him bragging about his last El Paso rally months ago and bragging about the crowd sizes
Now
to the 2 survivors.
is this the photo of him holding a baby whose parents are dead?
That's the second part of this story.
Oh yeah, so it's like he's giving
So
like the thumbs up, like, "Hey, check out this cool photo," and like there's
yeah,
a
he's
baby.
smiling and giving a thumbs up. Meanwhile, the orphan's life had just changed forever in wake of a national tragedy.
So there's a baby that's gonna one day go back and look at a photo of him or herself. I didn't know if it was a him or her. Like the day that their parents. Oh my God, this is how we get Batman. Like his parents were brutally gunned down, and there's just the corrupt, politicians like, hey, you got a picture with this baby. That's how you get a Batman.
Yeah, but it's so. Oh, by the way, that Paso that he was, or Paso, that crowd size he was bragging about at his El Paso rally, he never paid for that rally. He still owes El Paso almost $1 million in fines and late fees for having the rally there, and he just won't pay them, and then he just shows up to do this bullshit.
Also, like, crowd sizes don't always mean like, yeah, like I could write a book right now I could write a book accentuating the positive things that the Nazis gave us, like rocket science and stuff like that, and publish it, and then just go hold a book signing in like a public square in New York. I get a huge fucking crowd. That's not like good.
Yeah.
Also, his
So
also his crowds are like his penis. They're not big.
Yeah, they're shrinking actually because we're starting to see footage of even like the key seats, the closest seats to him, not even being filled, and he's starting to put out ads to pay people $500 to show up at his rally. The ads call mostly for minorities, but usually all of his rallies just have the same black guy there at all of them, who just is paid to stand behind him and hold a Blacks for Trump sign, and then all the other Black for Trump signs are held by like white people.
Yeah.
But
No, of course
so
he's going to pay people because remember how all the protesters were paid protesters?
Right, he kept saying that, but actually he's the one that pays.
Well,
Because he always assumes other people does what he does.
he's not going to pay them because he doesn't pay anybody.
Right, of course not, but he'll offer it, and then
Yeah,
if they try to demand their payment, he'll just sue them into oblivion until they shut up.
pretty much.
And speaking of oblivion, in shoe leather soup news, the canary died a little bit this week to let us know that a recession was on its way when the Dow dropped 800 points on Wednesday. That's last Wednesday, not today.
I heard a thing that said I was listening to the radio and they go, well, the consumer, while companies are pulling back, the consumer is what's keeping the economy going, and maybe the consumer will continue to. I'm like, that's not how that works. Like, if the economy is falling apart and you're depending on the consumer to continue spending, like, eventually when jobs and stuff hit, the consumer's not going to be able to spend anymore.
Yeah. And right now, what we're looking at is the what's going on here is a panic over an upcoming recession because the 10-year Treasury bond just fell below the rate of the 2-year Treasury bond, which is an inverted yield curve. Basically, it means short-term investments are more profitable than long-term investments, which is the opposite of how things are supposed to work. And these are specifically U.S. Treasury bonds. It's not all Treasury bonds, of course, but this has always been a great predictor of recessions because every single time it has ever happened in U.S. history, a huge recession followed. The last time it happened was right before the 2008 Great Recession.
Well, I tend to err on the side of the economists who are like this is going to be bad because every time something bad is about to happen, whether it be a recession or a natural disaster, what does everyone say? Oh, it's not going to be that bad. You're just panicking. It'll be fine. It'll be a mild. And next thing you know, we're eating shoe leather soup.
Yep. So in That's Cute news, I finally have that again.
Oh, what's our that cute news?
Walmart mirrors America.
Walmart mirrors America.
Yes. So Walmart stock mirrors the Dow, including that it's been flat since December 2017. They're falling in a lot of places. They're anti-vaxxers. They're resisting the $15 minimum wage as hard as they can, and the jobs they are creating are mostly part-time or temporary.
Yeah.
Even the person who runs the show doesn't like half the stores. So the CEO right now is saying, yeah, they're all crap, but what can we do?
Well,
they're closing stores everywhere.
They've been fucking people on part time for a long time. When I worked there in 2006, I think 2005, they kept me on part time forever. And the way they keep you on part time is they keep you like within 5 hours of full time or whatever. You know what I mean? They keep you just under that window. Like if one more hour will put you onto like full time status, they'll send you home. So basically, you're working full time minus 1 hour or minus like 2 hours. Like that's how they do it.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, they've sold a lot of Chinese imports to a lot of supposed patriots and have been caught balls deep in blatant corruption, been sued for it and lost. In the past, they went out of their way to hire illegal immigrants, didn't pay them, got sued and lost. And most recently, they're host to a surprisingly large number of murders due to white supremacist terrorists. Walmart is basically mirroring all the worst aspects of America, specifically Trump's America.
Yeah,
So,
but I sure do
that's
love
cute.
walking around a Walmart.
I do. I love those places. That's my number one. What do you call it? Supplier.
I don't buy any.
Supply chain.
I don't buy anything. I just like walking around, going, "Huh, all this is here." Okay.
Well, my alternative is a food world where the apples are always rotten. So I mean, I'm kind of boned here.
Just like
Not-
America, where the apples are always rotten.
And Eric Garner or the cop that choked Eric Garner
Oh
to death
yes.
was finally fired 5 years
So,
after it happened in
this
a
is-
very slow justice news.
It's a very slow justice news. So this is the great thing about that because I wanted to talk about that. I'm glad you put it in your notes. What's his name? Pamplano, Pimento, whatever the fuck his name is.
Pimento
Anyway.
and cheese.
Anyway, after 5 years, he's fired, and this was like decided by like the police commissioner. It came from the top down. And what a pittance He was fired from a job. Somebody died. Here's the thing: whether you're like, pro cop, anti cop, whatever you are, we all got to admit that anytime during our job, if we accidentally kill somebody, we're probably just fired. Just any job I've had, even if like they clear me, but I accidentally killed someone. That's as Brad Pitt said in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Bruce Lee was like, "I accidentally kill you with these hands, I go to jail." And Brad Pitt goes, "You accidentally kill anyone and it's manslaughter in a fight. That's just what it is." Yeah, so and so he's fired, right?
Right.
And he's gonna sue to get his job back. And I'm like, buddy, just move on. Go to another police department, like, right next door to the NYPD. They'll hire you. You'll do like every other cop and go back to choking minorities again. Like, you're gonna sue to get your job back? Jesus Christ.
Is he doing that?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that part.
Yeah, and of course the spokesman for the Police Benevolent Association is just like, they're tying the hands of cops. This is anti. I'm like, he killed a man and was fired. That's not even justice, but that just seems like a Tuesday.
He killed a harmless man who was begging for his life over selling cigarettes. By the way, while Eric Garner was being choked to death over stealing cigarettes, the Walmart white supremacist that shot, 30 people, killed half of them, more than half of them, he was let out in handcuffs. He wasn't strangled. He wasn't anything. It was just two cops escorting him to his right and left, taken alive.
Also, how many people have cigarettes killed? The real enemy.
Well, a lot.
But yeah, so he got fired, and he's just like, fucking, I'm gonna sue. I'm like, just go away. No one wants you.
Yep.
So I know we're running out of time. You want to end it with the Dear Abby?
One more quick part, and then I'm out. Just speaking of people that need to piss off, the Proud Boys were holding bullshit this week, and Antifa showed up to counter protest. So of course the police arrested 13 Antifa members day one and 0 Proud Boys.
Because the police are complicit with the white supremacist movement in a lot of those places.
Yep. So fun facts: the KKK have killed 5,000 plus Americans since 1865, and they are not designated a terrorist organization.
Really?
Yeah,
the KKK is not designated a domestic terrorist organization?
Correct. White nationalists. Go ahead.
No, this is insane.
Yeah, white nationalists have killed 313 Americans since 1995, and they are not designated a terrorist organization. Antifa has killed 0 Americans ever, and Trump says, this is the one that needs to be terrorist because they're black. Big Lee.
Well, he talks about it. He hasn't made any moves to and also the protest was mostly, from what I saw, it wasn't a slobber knocker like everybody wanted. It was mostly peaceful.
Yeah, but 13 Antifa were still arrested.
Yeah, well, yeah, because of course, like I said, like the Portland PD, because there was a big thing where they were found exchanging text messages with the Proud Boys and like the Patriot Prayer and the right wing groups,
Jesus.
like giving them information and shit like that. Yeah.
That's just where we are. Okay, so Dear Abby.
Well, Dear Abby, my husband and I have been married 30 years. Anytime someone starts one like that, I'm already like, this is going to be bad.
Yep.
He is my high school sweetheart and my best friend. We enjoy each other, and I thought we had a great relationship. Occasionally, we spice up our sex life to keep things interesting. At his request, I have sexted him a few times with the understanding that he delete the photos once he has viewed them. That's fair. I've exchanged, naughty pictures with people, but when I'm no longer seeing them, I delete them. You know what I mean? I usually delete them after I get them, just in case I don't want anybody to get a hold of my phone. So yeah, I think that's standard, right? Like I send you, we exchange pictures of genitalia, and we look at them, and then we delete them, right?
Right. The two of us exchange pictures of genitalia, look at them a bit, and be like, well, guess I can't look you in the eyes the next time you come over.
I can only look you in the brown eyes. Well, the other night around 3 a.m., I heard his phone dinging over and over again. He was asleep, so thinking it was our daughter trying to reach us, I looked at it. To my horror, he had put the pictures of me on a porn site through an app. There were pictures of me in various unaware stages of nudity, like in the shower or sleeping in bed. And people
these weren't even pictures that she took herself. He just took the snapshots?
Yeah, I guess he's just like sneaking around with his phone camera going da-da, da-da, and like taking photos of her unaware. Basically what's known as like upskirts, right?
Yeah.
When you take unconsensual pictures of people. And she says people were commenting lewd and disgusting things. Needless to say, I feel beyond betrayed. My trust in him was
Yes,
broken,
she
and
should.
I'm devastated at his behavior. His response is he is sorry and he made a mistake. I don't know what to do. I'm considering leaving him. He's remorseful, but I don't understand why he would do this. Help, please. Photo finish in Ohio. Well, nice name to this one. That's a hard one, but yeah, fucking, you may want to definitely seriously thinking about leaving him. That's if he's done that. What else is he capable of?
Right? Like, okay,
What an
let's say I was married to someone for how long did she say? 13 years?
30.
30. Oh my God. Oh, that's actually,
It's
like
tough.
that's your life. Like
Yeah.
you're upturning your life if you leave him. So I mean, this might have to be a tell him he cannot do this again, and also he has to pay for marriage counseling.
Something, yeah. There's got to be consequences. Also, I
Yeah,
would
it can't just be forgive and forget and move on. Something has to happen. He has to sleep on the couch for a month, three
also,
months.
I'm a very I'm like old school like monkey's paw vengeful. I'd be like, okay, well then he's got to let me take all the nastiest photos of him I want and then send them to his parents and friends or whoever. Be like, hey, I got a text message from Steve. Oh, why is he naked?
I get to randomly, quote unquote, accidentally send nudes of you to all kinds of people for a month or something like that.
Something, but
Yeah.
that's like
The
why would that be okay? And you're sorry? I don't think he's sorry. I think he's sorry he got caught.
Yeah, yeah. Jesus. So I was just thinking. So let's say I'm married to someone for 30 years and I want to take upskirts of them. I would say, hey, honey, do you mind if I take some upskirts of you, like nude pictures of you when you're unawares? And then just like at the end of the day, I'll show you, look, I got these, and then we can have a laugh and then delete them or whatever.
Or we can have a
That
laugh
that
and
could be
then
fun.
we can have a laugh and then post them on the internet together.
Yeah, yeah. If you think they're tasteful or whatever, or untasteful, but what the hell, let's go for it. We can do that. We can decide as a couple. So, but at that point, we're deciding as a couple that it's okay for me to sneak
Right.
pictures because that might be cute, and we're deciding as a couple what happens to those pictures.
Right.
You don't just randomly take pictures of someone in private and post them.
Well, it reads too like she feels like she's at fault because they
She's
took
not.
yeah like they took because she says they took sexy pictures and sent them to each other, but
That's
then
totally different.
yeah, it's totally different from him just creeping around going, I'm gonna take a photo of her while she's pooping and she'll never know. Like that's a blatant violation. That's I don't know. That's almost worse than cheating.
Uh, I mean, I think it's on the same level because it's a major trust issue.
It's on the same level, but for me it might be worse
But
because
it's
if you're
but it's like
cheating.
it. But I mean, yeah, okay. You took photos of you sent each other photos consensually, also only to each other and not on the internet. But that's like saying, well, we did a rusty trombone in bed the other day, so then he took a shit in my car. Like it's so different. Just because you did something somewhat different or it's somewhat similar because it involved the same
Yeah,
things doesn't mean it's
just
okay to do it in other contexts.
just because
That
you
makes
can
it different.
yeah just because you consent to one thing does not mean you consent to all things all the time. You know what I mean?
It's like, dear Abby, me and my husband box sometime recreationally, and the other day he just punched me in the face while I was watching TV. Is that okay?
No,
No,
that'd be
Jesus.
like, no, the other day he surprised me in the parking lot at work and hit me with a baseball bat. You see how
Right, right.
they're
Yeah,
both
because you
violent,
gotta.
but they're both
Yeah,
very
yeah.
different.
Yes, exactly. That is true. So what should we do? Well, it's 30 years together, so really you're like you're tearing a huge part of yourself off if you break up with them
I
at this
think,
point. But there has to be consequences of some
yeah,
sort. Now, if this keeps going, of course, it escalates to the point of you got to break up. But as it is, if he never does it again, have some really, really petty revenge, make him pay for marriage
well,
counseling,
here's what's
and then
scary.
maybe step on.
If he's sneaking around like this and he got caught, next time he'll be smarter and maybe not get caught, but keep doing it.
Hmm.
That's just how do you get that trust back? I don't know. I mean, depending on like how you feel about
I
marriage
don't.
is like marriage counseling, some kind of public shaming for him, and then maybe still leave him.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him again, right? Like I would be guarded for the rest of my life. I'd be guarded whenever I'm getting in the shower. I'd be guarded whenever I'm even a little bit undressed around him because maybe his phone's out snapping pictures of me and I don't know it.
Or he's put a hidden camera in the toilet.
Ah, I didn't even think of hidden cameras. I figured she was like getting in the shower and he's just like, "Hey, baby, snap." Just
I
sort of
mean,
stepping
you
in and hitting the button.
but you don't fucking know though. You don't know. This
Yeah.
guy's a creep.
Yeah. So,
We
man.
should really change the name of our podcast to like "Girl, Leave His Ass."
That's what a lot of them become. Whenever we start hard with the Dear Amy's, and that just sort of carries 90% of the episodes, which is fine with me. I mean, we need something to do after Trump's been removed with the 25th Amendment for thinking he's Jesus. He said that he compared himself to Jesus today, right? He said, I'm the second coming of God. It's in the. Everyone on Twitter's talking about it. Why aren't we getting rid of this guy yet?
Because well, the economy will. I firmly believe. Here's my prediction, and then we'll wrap it up. I believe he's probably going to win in 2020.
Ugh,
Um,
really?
I believe this because I keep reading stuff that makes me mad. The Democrats want a perfect candidate. I just read an article that said, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren aren't talking about legalizing things for sex workers, and that should be in the front. So
Uh,
everybody wants them to do all the things, and they're shredding them for anything they leave out. Meanwhile,
That's well. Once there isn't a clear and present, world-ending danger like Trump, then we can start talking about micromanaging policy. But also, Obama didn't run on gay rights. He just did gay rights once he was in office. That's not something you can really run on because too many people will vote against you if they think you're going to give more people rights.
yeah, but it's just so we're tearing ourselves apart. I think Trump's going to take 2020, maybe if the economy doesn't shit the bed before the election. If it does, I don't. I think that'll end him. If
I mean,
I think if
here's
he,
the thing. He's grossly less popular than he was before, and before he lost by 3 million votes. And also look at how insanely bad Hillary was in the eyes of the public. Get someone who's not quite as bad as Hillary,
yeah.
and I think
Well,
that
the
they are going to
economy's
beat him by at least 30 million, and then Russia's still going to give it to him somehow. But
well,
still,
the economy is the only way, the only drum he still has to beat, and that's the only thing keeping his political base
right.
together. But
And keep in
once,
mind that's still Obama's economy. Obama
yeah,
created an economy that's so good that even Trump trying his damnedest can't seem to destroy it.
but I think either the economy will cost him the 2020 election if it shits the bed, or if he wins in his second term, when the economy falls apart, I think that's when you might see impeachment, and then he's out of there.
Uh, I don't know.
That's my prediction, but I think he's going to win 2020.
Yeah,
Um,
what's scary is that that's what Penn's saying now too, and he had a guest on the other day that was explaining why he thought that Trump was going to win in 2016, and Penn was like, I was convinced that he was going to lose, but then he won just because I wasn't seeing what you were seeing, and so now I'm sort of agreeing with you. I think he's going to take 2020 also.
what did the guy say? If you don't mind giving us a quick.
He was
Uh,
a
s-
is a comedian that had toured the country,
mhm.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, while I'm in California and New York, everyone's just like so adamantly against him. It's just like sort of a no duh. Of course, Trump's gonna lose thing. But everywhere else in America, he saw so many people that were for him. Like people would show up to his Axe and MAGA hats. Everyone was very, very energetic about him. Everywhere in America except for New York and California.
Right, and so even if he loses the popular, he'll take the electoral college. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what he witnessed, and I think he's still seeing that.
Yeah, so it's very possible.
But it's a long ways till 2020, and the election season doesn't truly and properly begin until the Dems pick a candidate summer of next year. When that happens, you're going to see someone rise up very, very strongly. Everyone's going to rally behind them. Hopefully, there's going to be full-throated endorsements of the Democratic candidates from everyone who loses. No pussyfooting around like Bernie did last time
Yeah.
whenever he wasn't quite ready to go up for Hillary. Like everyone needs to be behind them 100%
Well,
because last time everyone said, well, it's okay to, sort of light touch it because we know Hillary's going to win, so we can do whatever. But this time everyone knows that Trump can win, so there's going to be so much more energy for it. Also, look at what's been happening in America since Trump won. Alabama elected a Democrat for senator instead of pedophile Roy Moore. The blue wave came into the House and swept the Republicans out. Like we're seeing a hell of a lot more energy for the Democrats than we've seen in a very long time.
yeah.
That just needs to continue into 2020, and I
Well,
hope it will. I
nothing.
hope people aren't desensitized to him
Well,
by then.
well, think about it. Nothing charges the opposition's base more than a good enemy. Obama did it for the Republicans, and now you're seeing the reverse Obama, and so hopefully you'll see it done for the Democrats.
Bizarro Obama,
Yeah.
just stupid and orange, and also the Antichrist.
Now, let me be clear. I'm Bizarro Obama, and I'm going to tear this country apart. I'm going to ruin the economy. I'm going to embrace hate speech, and I'm going to make gays illegal.
Okay. All right. Bigly.
Kind of the Jesus, if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out thing. Like, if the donut causes you to sin, throw it in the gross trash.